Hey everyone. So this is just the final video for project one. It's basically going to cover just finalizing everything for the pinup, and that's just where we make our prints and we literally pin up everything to the bulletin board, right? And that we're gonna do in either the third floor or the eighth floor, but I'll have more information for you later on. So the first thing that I need you all to do is download the template from the Google Drive. All right, once you have that downloaded, we learned today that you can access the Adobe Illustrator, the Adobe Creative Cloud suite with your CUNY credentials, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, great, great that the school has those resources for you. And so yeah, let's open up that template that we just downloaded. All right, so once we're in that template, give it a chance to load. We're going to see a couple of things. Let me just hide this. There we go. Okay. So this is just the basic front page of the template. You see a bunch of squares with X's in them. These are called frames. And this just means that we can add information to the, add visual information in there. All right, so there's only 4 pages, and I like to just change my workspace to Essentials Classic, just so I can see all my tools and pages and layers in one place. So the first thing that I want you all to do is file save as, and just, follow the file naming protocol, add your name. There's one, tutorials. All right, so this is for the tutorial. And yeah, so once you're in here, first thing you need to do after you save that file is change your name in the template. So you see I went into the pages and I went to the A parent, and this is just templates. So it's like having a header or a footer in Microsoft Word. And so you edit everything in the background here. And then it translates into the actual pages. So I have all the rest of the text as caps lock, so feel free to keep it that way when you're doing this. All right, there's only 2 templates, so just add your name twice, and then you'll see that it continues for both of these. All right, so I'm using my Pages navigation bar to see it. If you don't see Pages, all you need to do is click Window, and then you can click Pages to see Pages. All right, and then it'll pop up for you. All right, so next step that you need to do is export your data from your Rhino file and bring it here. I downloaded some students' work from the previous uploads. I think I'm working Fahad's model right now. Right, so that we don't have a white background there, so that's not going to work. I'm just trying to find a clean background photo. And so you will see why it's so important to have a background photo. All right. A good backdrop for your photos. All right, so what I did here was Control D for place. So another way that you can do that is first click on the frame, then go to File, Place. You see that the shortcut for that's Control D, and just make sure that you're clicking make sure that you're clicking all of the same model for these. So page 1 is going to be purple model 1, page 2 is going to be purple model 2, page 3, purple model 3. All right. And so again, file, place, I like to do Control+D. I feel like it's faster when I just use my keyboard. I click this little center circle so that I can adjust the size of the picture. All right, so you just go through this the whole time. Click that little circle. You can also double click and it'll allow you to edit. All right, so very easy to just drop the pictures in. All right, so now I'm up to 7. And the great thing about having this layout is that it's going to go directly into your portfolio at the end of the semester. And that's something that I also do grade. So, you're saving yourself the work later on. So yeah, that's great. I need you all to enter a few lines of text about your model, about the design of the model. I have a few prompts here, tell us my design intention was, my method of assembly was, the dominant form is, these are sentence starters. So just follow along with these sentences, use your keywords that inspired your design, very much like our first presentation, when we all came into class with our purple models, okay? All right, now to the left of this is where you add your the make 2D of that purple model. So this is the different students' work. It's different from the photos, but the concept is the same. So earlier on in tutorial number 3, we did the make 2D, where you generate these line drawings of your curve. And yeah, so what we're gonna do is basically select it. We're going to export selected. I'm going to change it to a PDF. And we're going to save it to my desktop just because. All right, maybe I should not save it to my desktop. I'm going to save it to tutorials. All right, so then you should get a page that looks similar like this, similar to this. And I'm just going to choose a generic page size that I know is going to be nice and large, just in case my view is a little wonky. And output color, that's all fine. I want to make sure that this is inches on paper and in model. And for my scale, I want it to be 1 foot equals 1 foot. This is going to be truest scale, meaning that you can measure this and it's going to be as if you're measuring something in real life. All right, so now that I saved that as a PDF, all I do is go back to this box. You can either do Control-D on your keyboard or File, Place. And I'm going to go back to the tutorials. And I have the file right there. And it just loaded in very nicely. All right, so that's what we do for the rest. All right, so once you have all 3 pages done, and you have the text, what you're going to do is File, Export, or Control+E. So you're going to save this as page 01, or you can do all the pages at once, your choice. Just for this demonstration, I'm going to do 1 page at a time. And so it's going to be, I'm on page 1 right now. And it's going to be the page. These are my settings. All right, compression, it's fine. You don't need to worry about anything other than general and the range. Make sure if you're plotting page 2, you change this to page 2. If you're doing all at once, just press all. I'm gonna do both ways just so you can see. So file export, and then I just wait for that PDF to be made. All right, so now we see our beautiful line drawing. We can see our photos, our 9 photos of our model, and then our text box with our name. All right. So you're gonna print each of these out. There's 3 of these types of pages, and you're gonna pin that up to the wall tomorrow. Okay. So if you were gonna plot all at once, you just do Control E for export or file export. I'm just gonna call this all pages just because this is a demonstration. And so now when I go back to that file, I can see that all the pages are here. So it's the last page, all right? So you just fill this out. It does not take very long, especially if you have your files saved in all the same place. If you don't have proper file naming or a good discipline in that, then, it'll take you a little bit longer. But yeah. All right, so now let's go back down to this last page. I know there were still some questions about what goes in these boxes. That is really just the 3D views of your models. So if I wanted to take these models over here, right, I just want to separate them a little bit so they have a little bit more breathing room before I export them. I'm just doing Control and then pressing my selection window to unselect file window. Make sure I have all my boxes. Something you don't need are these stray lines from when you were first model making. Those are no longer relevant, so feel free to just delete those. All right. So now that I have these views, I can either go one by one, and then type in ZE for zoom selected, and then view, capture to file. All right, make sure it's file and not clipboard. Transparent background, yes, I would like a transparent background, and browse. So view capture. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing here, and I'm gonna do it to all of them. All right, select Z selected, view capture to file. Try to only have your model in the view. This way nothing else gets caught. Like you see, I have a few things overlapping here, so I want to space it out a little bit better. Just to try and take it out of the view as best as I can. Okay. So I already have the first 3 views. So I could do file, import, place, sorry. And so this is the first view. Remember the top rows, you see it says digitized physical model. Okay, now the view is much larger than my viewport here, than my frame, so I just need to scale it down, dragging the corners in, and just try to get the full box in the view. Okay, it doesn't have to be scaled perfectly. Oh, and one other thing is you should not have these yellow lines. I should have deselected before I captured the view. So my width, I'm actually going to change this to 800 just to reduce the size. All right, and see if that improves my chances. All right, and I'm just replacing what I already saved. You capture it to your file. Remember to not have it selected when you do this, so you don't have the yellow lines. All right, so now I'm gonna replace this. All I need to do is press that little caution thing, and then I bring it in. So you see it's pretty clean and crisp. Goal again is to just try and make sure that the whole extent of the model is inside the frame. It's not going to be perfect every single time. If you decided to import them all at once, you can scale them all at once, but I'm working frame by frame. Whatever you're more comfortable with, please do. All right, I'm just shifting it to get it a little bit more in center. Great. You'll see there's a few guides that pop up, and just like in Rhino, it helps you navigate and figure out what's the center of your model, what's not. And then there's like snapping that just automatically happens. InDesign is a great program for layouts and presentations. All right, so now I have those top 3 views. So you see it's going to look something like this. I'm going to do the same to the remaining 3 models. Zoom selected, view capture to file, browse, okay. All right, so again, you see there's no yellow lines. View capture to file, browse and save. All right, I'm not too worried about naming for this, so it's whatever naming procedure works for you all that I would like for you to follow. Your final uploads, of course, that has to follow the file naming template, but just these picture files, it's not that important. Okay. All right, if you do have a colored background, just be sure that it stays square, okay? Everything has to be within the final frame, okay? So now when I export this, all pages, let me just close this. Control E for export, file, export all pages. Yes, I'm replacing the old one that I did. I'm gonna do all my text boxes are replaced. And now I have this final layout that will be printed tomorrow in the computer lab. Okay. Be sure to have all of the prints done and ready for presentation before 6 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. And let me know if you have any other questions.